been a little over 3 weeks now since Jordan Hicks entered the injured reserve list due to that shin injury he suffered against the New Orleans Saints, where he had the compartment syndrome, and we've talked about it, right? We had to send him to injured reserve. We had to add another piece at linebacker because our depth took a little bit of a hit. Bring in Anthony Barr. However, Anthony Barr might find himself off the team or even on the practice squad, and that's because there's some optimism inside the Vikings building that Jordan Hicks could return to the practice field and the game field. Now, the earliest he could return, or the earliest they would open his practice window, would be that Week 15 matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, that would mark his 4 weeks of being on injured reserve. Now, he could be on there for longer, but it's a minimum of 4 weeks. So if we decide to open up his practice window because his rehab is going phenomenal, he's on pace to come back sooner rather than later, that'd be fantastic. But that would be the earliest outcome that we would see Jordan Hicks potentially suit back up for the Minnesota Vikings. Not necessarily play in a game, but open up that practice window. So this optimism comes from inside that building, where Brian Flores basically spoke to Kevin Seifert of ESPN, and we gave him a little blurb of what he thinks about Jordan Hicks and his potential return. So let's get right to that, right? Vikings linebacker Jordan Hicks remains on injured reserve after undergoing surgery on his shin last month, but there's hope that he will be able to get back on the field before the season is over. Okay, now Hicks developed the extreme swelling known as compartment syndrome after suffering a shin contusion in a win over the Saints and had to be hospitalized for a couple of days after having the operation. Now, basically what compartment syndrome is, a buildup of fluid where you get a big old bruise, like in Jordan Hicks' case or scenario, right? Gets hit in the shin, bunch of fluid fills up to kind of try to heal it, but it just stays there, and it can cause a lot of issues and stuff like that. I'm not a doctor, but that's basically the gist of the injury. So they had to get that organized and taken care of as quickly as possible. Now on Tuesday, today, the Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores said via Kevin Seifert of ESPN.com that there is optimism about Hicks being well enough to return to the lineup. Now, Hicks is currently taking part in meetings and other off-field work at the Vikings facility. The off-field work is rehab. Okay, plain and simple, we have the whole TCO performance center where basically you don't have to go to a certain specialist, 30 miles or 30 minutes down the road or something like that. No, you can just do it all at the training facility, which is great. That means he's still in the building, still giving his 2 cents of knowledge in there and really working towards things. Now, Hicks, who's been having a fantastic year up to that point where he got injured, had 87 tackles, a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, and a fumble return for a touchdown in 10 games this season. Now, we could really use Jordan Hicks back. I think we've all noticed the little hit to our defense, even though our defense, we've been playing lights out. If our offense could just, hold on to the ball, that'd be fantastic. However, that might not just be, realistic to look forward because it's been a problem all year. What's to say that it's going to go away now? Now, it did go away for a little bit for a couple weeks, but our defense has been playing out of this world. I mean, next level compared to what we had with Ed Donatel. Brian Flores has completely changed this. And even with the guys that have had to step up, Anthony Barr has seen a couple snaps here and there. Troy Dye, these guys have played pretty decent. But having Hicks back in the lineup would be massive. It's crucial. He's one of the leaders of our defense. He's a veteran in this game. And look, he is second in tackles for the Minnesota Vikings, only behind Cam Bynum, who I believe has like 92 or 97. I think it's 92 tackles. So not very far behind Cam Bynum. If Jordan Hicks doesn't get hurt, Jordan Hicks probably leads our team for tackles this season. And that is something to not overlook. Jordan Hicks is a massive piece of our defense. Having him back would obviously help, especially with this final stretch down the road where we got the Raiders, then we got the Bengals, and then the last 3 games is like Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit. So there's a lot of games at the end of the season that we could definitely use Hicks' expertise for. So it's great news. This is what I expected. There was, some doubt that he might even play the rest of the year just because this injury. I'm not sure how long it takes to recover, but there's optimism in the building that Jordan Hicks could return, if well enough, sooner rather than later. You guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like. And hey, subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Only 19 subs away from 1,100. It'd be much appreciated if we can get there. So have a great rest of your night, folks. And Skull Vikes.